shut this. Okay, it's working. Sound is good. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is one of those mornings, as we can tell. It's a little it's cloudy outside. It's raining. It's cold. The sound, we're having issues, but now things are good. So let me start off, and I want to congratulate Monica Matlis for winning last night's text. And I'd like to remind everyone that Sunday and Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m., just a few seconds, a minute of fun, community fun while we're all isolated. JText. Sign up to jewishcenter.info JText. And at 7 o'clock, you get a text with a question about Jewish knowledge. And then you respond, you know, you don't know. Regardless, you're given the information. And it's a nice group activity of now over 50 people all over the county, actually different parts of the country. And at that moment, you're connecting in a meaningful way. So jewishcenter.info JText, and Mazel Tov to Monica Matlis. You will be getting a bottle of wine delivered to your house this Friday for Shabbat. Let me hide that, and let's talk about the story. You know, it's like I said before, it's very gloomy outside. It's dark, overcast, raining. And just in general, what's going on in the world and society, we have no clarity, and we're as confused as always, with all the ingredients to get you down, all the ingredients to keep you less motivated because there's so much confusion. I hope this story teaches us a very inspiring lesson, a meaningful lesson, that, you know, we just never know what's around the corner. We never know. We just got to hang in there, do the right thing, be proactive, and great blessings will happen. But it didn't start out that way. In 2009, for a woman named Dalia Aminalov. Dalia was the mother of the first Israeli soldier that fell during the 2008 Gaza war. If you remember, at the end of 2008, there was this major uprising and an attack, and what was referred to as the Gaza war at that time. There were quite a few casualties relatively in the for the Israeli army, the Jewish army, Israeli army. And the first soldier to fall was a fellow named Dvir Aminalov. And that's when it kind of hits you strong when you hear the first casualty. And needless to say, the pain of his mother, Dalia, was immense, intense, deep. Her world has fallen apart. Dvir was her prized child. And here he's no longer with her. Very hard to imagine that pain if you didn't go through it. But those who know parents that have gone through it know how painful and tragic that experience is. Her life was shattered. And months later, she was still having nightmares, and she was still suffering immensely with the pain of the loss of her son. And she turns to God and says, God, I just need one more hug from my son. I need Dvir to hug me so I know that his life wasn't lost in vain. Show me his presence. Give me that one last hug. And with that, she fell asleep. Later that week, her daughter wanted to go to a musical performance. It was the annual International Crafts Festival in Jerusalem. And her daughter wanted to go. You can imagine that Dalia was not in the mood of going to a musical performance during this year of mourning, the intense feeling of pain. But on the other hand, she didn't want to let down her daughter. Her daughter was alive. Her daughter needed that love and support. So grudgingly, she went along with her daughter to this concert. She's sitting and waiting in her seat, and it's Jewish time and Israeli Jewish time. And obviously the performance didn't start on time. And she's waiting there. And as she's sitting there, a little 2-year-old boy runs up next to her, this precocious little child who is impatient, and starts tapping her on her leg. Now, Dalia was a school teacher, so she didn't get flustered. She wasn't frustrated. She looks to the little child and says, hi, how are you? What's your name? He says, my name is Esha. Ah, Esha, how are you? How's your day going? And she starts to engage in conversation, and the little child is sitting there. And his parents are sitting to 2 rows above her, and they start saying, Eshel, Eshel, Tafsik, Eshel, come back. And Dahlia turns back to the parents and says, don't worry, Tiraga, take it easy. She's a teacher. She loved children. And she starts engaging in conversation, and a little kid tells Eshel as much as he could speak at 2, and as much as she can get out of him, says, I have this new little baby. Really? What's the baby's name? Eshel turns to Dahlia and says, baby's name, what, in Hebrew? Dvir. Dvir. Dvir is the name of her son, and that's a very unusual name in Israel. So she says, Dvir? He says, yeah, Dvir. And she starts to continue the conversation, and then he says, come, let me show you the little baby. And she goes, and he takes the little boy, Eshel, takes Dahlia 2 rows up to her parents, and there's a little carriage with the little baby Dvir. And the mom, Dahlia, looks at the baby's mother and says, Dvir, how do you get a name Dvir to your baby? And the mother says that I was going through a very, very difficult pregnancy. And the doctors gave up. There was no way that I was going to give a birth to a healthy, living child. And the night before I fell into labor, I didn't know it was labor, but the night before I asked God, please give me this child. And if you give me this child, I will name him after the fallen soldier, Dvir, who fell to protect your land. And I will perpetuate his memory. You can imagine what was going through Dahlia's mind. She was stunned. She was shocked. And the parents look at her and they see something's going on. And she tells the parents, I am Dvir's mom. And they look at her, no way. She says, yeah, I am Dvir Minhalav from Pisgat Ze'ev. Dvir was my son. And instinctively, the mother of the newborn baby says, here, hold the baby, hug him close to you. And Dahlia looks into the baby Dvir's eyes and feels that warm embrace from the little pure child, the pure soul of this newborn baby. And in that embrace, she feels the embrace of her own son Dvir. Her prayer to God was answered. She got that last one hug from her son that she so yearned. She felt as this new soul was just bringing in that energy of her son. This was the hug she needed. This is the hug she received from God when she took her little daughter to the Israeli festival, when she didn't want to go, but she did what she needed for her child. My friends, this is such a powerful story because this is a story of our life. So many times we become down by things around us, and we pray to God, and we expect answers the way we want them, and we don't get them, and we dig in our heels. But when we pray, we have to open ourselves up. We have to be patient. We have to be proactive in life. And when we continue with life, we will hear and feel the answers to our prayers. It may come in strange ways. It may come in places where you may not even want to be. But when you go on with doing what life calls of you, that is where you find the answers to your prayers. And I don't want us to think of this story and just sit down, okay, and wait for the answers of prayers. I want to inspire all of us to be the agents of that prayer. God answered Dahlia's prayer through this mom with her baby child. God speaks to us through our interactions with other people, and we never know what those interactions mean. Be proactive, be positive, reach out to the people that you know you can reach out to. We don't know what kind of great cosmic things will happen, but we know that when we move forward in life proactively, even though it could be very difficult, but doing the thing that life calls on us, that's where we find that miracle. And I want to conclude with another little anecdote. So hopefully we don't just ask God to answer our prayers, but we become the answer to other people's prayers. It's a very short story of a Rosh Yeshiva, and I was searching the name. I couldn't find who it is, but I remember the story very vividly, reading the story of a very prominent Talmudic academy in Brooklyn, a very famous Rosh Yeshiva of Torah Vodaas, I think it was. And he was very close to his students. And one of his students was very ill. And the Rosh Yeshiva as well was very ill, so he couldn't really go visit. But he took 5 minutes and he wrote a letter to his student with words of encouragement, words of inspiration. And he sent it to his student, hand-delivered. The student gets this letter from his revered rabbi, his revered Rosh Yeshiva. He's so excited. He holds it so closely, so dearly to him. And anybody who would come in, he would show, look at the blessings I got from my teacher. Look at the inspiration I got from my teacher. Unfortunately, this individual passed away, and his teacher couldn't make it to the funeral. But when the students came back and repeated what was said at the eulogy, he began to cry. The students said that at the eulogy, people talked about this letter that he wrote to the student and how encouraging and how inspiring it was. And he begins to cry. And they ask, Rabbi, Rabbi, why are you crying? He says, look what 5 minutes of my life was able to do for somebody else's days of their life, maybe even the last years of their life. All it took was 5 minutes. How many other 5 minutes didn't I utilize to do the same for somebody else? All it takes is 5 minutes. All it takes is a couple minutes. But those few minutes from your life can change and lift up somebody else in their life. So in the story of Dahlia was the recipient of her prayers hearing, because she was proactive and moved on in life to do what she needed, although it was difficult. But all of us can be the agents of that change in others' life. Think if somebody could use a call. It takes 2 minutes, even an email, even a nice, encouraging text. Just thinking of you, how are you doing? Give a call to someone who you think may need that call. It takes a few minutes. And I know, because I know personally, we have a lot of those chunks of a few minutes these days, where instead of checking the news or going on Facebook or doing something else, pick up the phone and call someone. Think of someone who could use a good hug, a virtual hug, but a hug. It could go a long way, and allowing that person, lifting them out of their harshness or the hardness of their life. We're all going through that now together. And I pray to God that he gives us his hug, his warmth, to give us direction and meaning, inspiration. Because as the story tells us with Dahlia, we never know what's around the corner. We're going through tough times, but let's keep at it. Let's keep focused. Let's keep positive, because around the corner, our prayers will be answered. My friends, have an enlightening day. Have a warm and inspiring day. Have a proactive day. Have a day where you feel blessing, but you also generate blessing. And sometimes when you generate blessing, you will get the blessing back. Have a great day. I want to just encourage you all to continue to come back to our classes, share these messages with the people that you know. It's not my message. It's the message of our tradition. It's the message of our faith. And so many people are hungry. So many people are thirsting. So many people are searching for the answer, not the answer, but they're looking for that inspiration. And for your soul, you need the message from the source of the soul, the tradition and the faith of our Torah. So if you know someone that can use this message, share it with them. Invite them to come in the morning to our classes. Give them our domain name. Give them our website, virtualjewishcenter.org, where every morning and every evening you have short messages, and then we have a whole host of longer classes. But make it something that we are proactive with, so we hear the blessing of the time to give our blessing as we move forward. So for now, have a wonderful day. I'm going to try to work on this sound thing, so that when you do sign on, we all know that you're going to have a good message and not have to wait. But everything happens for a reason. I'm glad to see you again. And for those that are going to listen to us during the day, I'm hopeful, I'm sure you're making it a great and wonderful day. For now, Sei gesund and go for it, my friends.